Next up, we have Cosima from OmiseGo that has a big announcement today. They recently rebranded to the OMG network. So I believe we have a video to play, and then we'll bring on Cosima for Q&A at the end.
What is OMG Network? At OMG Network, we believe that the ability to transfer value globally and without restrictions is a fundamental human right. As we pass 60% global internet penetration and move more commerce online, payment systems will have to evolve to accommodate multiple parties and transact different forms of value. Blockchain makes this possible, facilitating the transfer of cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, and other forms of digital value. But most blockchain ecosystems are limited by low transaction processing speeds and high and unpredictable transaction fees. That's why we created the OMG network, a value transfer layer that scales the Ethereum network, facilitating fast, cheap, and secure transactions. The OMG network uses the More Viable Plasma protocol to achieve scalability. More Viable Plasma bundles up transactions in blocks and sends these batch transactions to the Ethereum network for confirmation. It is through this compression that the OMG network enables fast and secure transactions at a fraction of the cost of Ethereum. A simpler way of putting this would be to compare it to carpooling. Think of each transaction as a passenger in a car. You pay gas to travel between point A and point B. If there's traffic or congestion, you might end up in a bottleneck, paying an arm and a leg for gas. Now imagine if every transaction you make is carpooled with many others. Congestion is reduced, everybody gets to where they're going quickly and without the extra cost. That's what the OMG network can do for you. So let's talk about how fast. The OMG network scales Ethereum from 14 transactions per second to thousands of transactions per second. How cheap? Transactions on the OMG network cost less, 3 times less than Ethereum. How secure? The Plasma protocol ensures that your value is as secure on the OMG network as it is on Ethereum. OMG network relies on Ethereum's immutable smart contract properties and is secured by a decentralized network of watchers. Oh, and did we mention green? By carpooling transactions, the OMG network reduces electricity consumption by potentially 99% per transaction compared to Ethereum. Visit omg.network for more information.
Hello, Mainnet 2020, and thank you for joining me for my talk, Plasma Proof of Life. My name is Cosima Tharn-Pribichai, and I am the CTO of OmiseGo. And a little bit about me, I've spent over 20 years bootstrapping startups in San Francisco and New York as a software engineer and engineering leader. I fell down the crypto rabbit hole in about 2014 while I was working at GitHub building the billing and payments team there. And for the past 2 years, I've been at OmiseGo seeing just how deep that rabbit hole goes. So what is OmiseGo? At OmiseGo, our mission is to enable financial inclusion and access for all. And we, like many of you here, believe that open permissionless blockchains are an important part of that future. But as we all know, that there's been a bit of a hiccup around scale. So over the past 3 years, OmiseGo has been researching and building a layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum called Plasma. So if you've been following some of the layer 2 scaling landscape, you might be wondering, wait, isn't Plasma dead? And to that, I would say a resounding no. What I think a lot of the public scaling discussion gets wrong is that there won't be one scaling solution to rule them all. Like any engineering project, it's about trade-offs. And if we're going to reach a mainstream decentralized future, we need to be ready to accommodate a broad set of use cases. And those use cases require a lot of different performance characteristics. So we love all the promising new research in scaling solutions. In fact, we help fund some of it. And we agree with the sentiment from our friends in that community when they say that a healthy layer 2 ecosystem has a lot of these solutions living together. Our mission from the start was about scale, and we've stayed committed to that mission in a way that doesn't compromise the core value that we care about, which is trustlessness. And as we saw as recently as March 12th, the industry needs scaling solutions today, not 1 or 2 years from now. And we've been pushing to release OMG Network as quickly and responsibly as possible. So rumors of Plasma's death are greatly exaggerated, and to prove that, I am excited to announce today our first public mainnet environment, which we are calling the OMG Network V1 Mainnet Beta. So before I get into that, let's take a few steps back and talk about what is Plasma for those who don't know. So Plasma is a layer 2 scaling solution, and it scales transactions in a child chain, which lives next to the root chain. It is fully trustless and non-custodial, and relies on decentralized security in both the root chain for smart contracts running on there, controlling the protocol, and on a wide network of watchers which validate the system. So this is different from side chains such as Liquid in that the funds are guaranteed by the protocol on the root chain, which is implemented by a smart contract. There are no trusted or federated parties in control there. And this differs from state channels such as Lightning by being a full blockchain rather than a bidirectional channel. So many parties can participate in the chain at once. So one way to understand this, the Plasma architecture, is to view it from the primary entities that are involved. And this is similar to a lot of layer 2s. There are 3 entities. So the smart contracts are one. This enshrines the protocol, and once they're deployed, no one can affect how they work, and you can interrogate them. There's the operator, which is sometimes known as an aggregator or block producer, and this entity is really the processor of transactions. And then for us, there's a watcher, and sometimes this is known as a watchtower or validator. And anyone can run this, and it monitors the system for irregular activity. And so all these entities interact with each other. No single entity is an intermediary. So the smart contracts arbitrate the protocol. The operator collects transactions, or it processes transactions. So it collects these transactions, assembles them into blocks, hashes those blocks, and submits those hashes to the smart contracts. And the watcher acts on behalf of the user, facilitating transaction submissions to the operator, providing exit data that is used with the smart contracts, and monitors the smart contracts and the operator for any irregular activity. So another way to look at this is through the transaction lifecycle. So there are 3 main steps here. And again, this is similar to a lot of layer 2s. You start with a deposit into the system. And for us, that goes into our root chain contract that is running on Ethereum. Once that deposit is in the contract, it's made available for use on the child chain. And you can transact as many times as you want in this child chain. And once you're ready to withdraw, you contact the root chain contract and withdraw your funds in whatever new state they happen to be in. And the key piece here for us is that middle section where the child chain submits that hash of state of the system to the root chain. And that hash is what keeps your funds safe. And you can see how that supports scale, because many transactions are grouped up into a single hash and a single transaction on the root chain. And of course, if the child chain fails to submit that hash for any reason, you still have the ability to exit your funds in a trustless manner. So how are we doing? So progress. We developed the more viable Plasma protocol in 2018, which is the particular flavor of Plasma that we're using. We've built 4 public testnets since April 2019, and they've had over 2 million transactions. We've had 3 smart contract audits by QuantStamp and Consensus Diligence, and 2 private mainnet instances since December 2019. And today, I'm happy to talk about our next milestone, our first public mainnet instance, the OMG Network V1 Mainnet Beta. So this system is built on what we're calling the OMG Plasma Framework. And again, it runs on more viable Plasma, which is the particular flavor of Plasma. It's built with Plasma predicates, which is an architecture that allows us to abstract away the Plasma protocol from specific transactions or applications that might be using the protocol. And one way you can think about it is as a limited form of smart contracts. We've also provided the ability to extend our vaults and exit games, which gives us flexibility into the future. And all of this comes with Plasma security guarantees, which means if you see anything that you don't particularly like, you can always get your funds out safely. So what are the particular features of this of our mainnet beta? So it's fully trustless and non-custodial, of course. That is something we have never compromised on. Currently, it's a single operator, and that is specifically for protocol simplicity and scale. And the first application we're implementing with our predicate architecture is ETH and ERC20 transfers. And we are able to do that with higher throughput, for cheaper, and greener than mainnet with an equivalent level of security. And that is available today. And I invite everyone to come and check it out. So what's next for us? I'll give you a sneak peek. So we're working on additional asset types and applications that fit within this framework. The next thing is we're also working on a watcher incentivization mechanism. And that's because the more watchers that are running, the more secure the system is. We're also working on fast withdrawals, and this is a characteristic of a lot of layer 2s where there is a certain challenge period when you are withdrawing funds from the system. And so we're working on mechanisms to mitigate that. And we're working on major protocol improvements for withdrawals at scale. And one final announcement that I have to give is that we are saying goodbye to OmiseGo. This launch is the next chapter for us and for Plasma. And the OMG network is our lifeblood, and we are the OMG network. So with the launch today, we are rebranding to OMG network. So hello, OMG network. And you can find out more about us at omg.network. There's plenty of developer documentation, links to sample code, things like that. Of course, you can come look at our work on GitHub, and you can contact me almost anywhere at Kasima. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you, Masari, for having us.
That was great. Let's get Kasima up here in person and started. How are you? Thank you for the video. That was excellent.
Oh, thanks so much. Thanks so much. It was fun to make. I want to make sure that everything looked nice, sounded nice.
It did. No, I mean, it was great. It was great. So yeah. Anyway, congrats on the launch today. Rebrand, big day. Also, yeah. I have to say the other one is officially joined the Masari registry today. So that was another announcement on us on both of our sides, which was very exciting.
Yeah, we can be part of it. It's been a long process with us, and it's been great working with you guys.
Likewise, absolutely. It's been a lot of fun. So with the question on the going forward, so right now, pretty much focused on trying to scale Ethereum right now, and but you're talking about doing different verticals and applications that are built off of it. One, is there any work is that work being primarily done by OMG project, or is that kind of going to be like third-party developers? And then on top of that, are there any plans to potentially do this for other chains, or is it primarily going to be Ethereum?
Good questions. Let me start with
actually a lot in there.
Yeah, so absolutely. The applications and verticals piece is part of the reason we decided to deploy what is known as the Plasma Predicates architecture. That allows us to develop more business logic and put it under what we call Plasma security. And so it's like I said in the video, it's could be considered a restricted set of smart contracts, which forces us to manipulate business logic or apply applications in a way that fit under Plasma. And those are very small core concepts like who owns a certain set of state, or who's allowed to exit, or when that's allowed to happen. And so that can apply across a lot of use cases. And we're really at the very beginning of sort of exploring that and seeing just how far that runs. And so, yes, we are super excited to go looking around and exploring and talking to partners and potential customers to see what we can build there. In terms of who can build it right now, the way that the predicate framework is put together, we have to be the ones to deploy it. So a lot of that's going to be working with customers or working with potential partners to build these new use cases. The hope is potentially opening that up at some point, but we still have a fair amount of research to do to make that possible. And then what was your final question? The final question was pretty good.
It was looking at, because I know it's built on the Plasma Framework, and that's primarily working with Ethereum, I guess EVM-based smart contracts. And were there any plans to extend that out to other networks in the future, or
we were born out of the Ethereum space, and so we are committed to seeing where that goes. That said, we believe in this as an industry and a technology, and so pretty much any smart contract platform is eligible for us. But right now we are definitely focused on Ethereum and scaling that.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, it makes sense. Get something, do it well right first, and then if it turns into a multi-chain future where it can be, that's when you start looking.
Absolutely.
Actually, I just got a note in the chat. Is it your birthday too?
Yes, let's just say it's my birthday. The inside joke right now at the company is that every day is my birthday.
I got it. All right. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you for that. Thanks, Jet. I really appreciate
that. Going back in on the question side. So I had someone asking here. They were asking about other launch partners because you had the announcement with Tether today. Get on board. And you obviously seen Ethereum transactions. Or Ethereum fees kind of skyrocket recently, and some of that regulation, if that led to Tether, and
we went to the top.
What's that?
We went straight to the top.
Yes.
Where did Justin off the network?
Yeah. Are there any other I guess the question was, were there any other launch partners or some certain projects that you kind of see that are kind of taking over the use case and kind of eating up gas price that
we're trying to talk to as many of partners that we possibly can right now, especially now that we're launched. I don't think we have anything quite ready for announcement, but definitely there's a lot of conversations happening right now. And if anyone who's watching is interested to speak to us, we are more than happy to speak to you. Please come hang out with us at our booth.
Excellent. I had another question in mind. Yeah. So I love the fact that you went out and answered, is Plasma dead? This is a conversation I had with a couple of people, and definitely the idea that optimistic rollups, which is another scaling solution that came out relatively recently, gained a lot of attention. And I was just kind of wondering where does that sit? Is that kind of ready to come out? What is the big difference between, what are the benefits of using Plasma versus optimistic rollups at this point, or any rollup?
I see that. So we love those guys, and we love that project. I think it's going great. I mean, we helped fund Plasma Group all the way through the year of existence, and they got us Plasma predicates, and they got us to OR as a community. And
all right, everyone, welcome back. We've had a terrific day.
Did we? Is that who? Where's that coming from?
I am getting played off right now by
okay.
Mainnet sessions are going back live.